Good evening. Welcome to episode one of Say It With Your Chest. And today's episode will be How did you feel about AJ's performance? I will be joined by Bruce Kai in the breaking down of this fight, and we'll both give our honest opinions of obviously how we felt this fight went last night. And I'm gonna add Bruce right now. So, how you doing, Bruce?
What's good, brother? What's good?
I'm good. I'm good. How's your day been, brother?
Good, bro. Good. Glad to see you doing your thing, man.
But yeah, long overdue, man. Need to stay consistent now, though.
Oh, I'm telling you. Hold on. Give me 1 second. I'll be right there. One second. 1 second.
Yeah. So me and Bruce Kai met through the Great Defeaters, a lovely boxing community. So for those who don't know, please follow the Undefeated podcast. It's a great bunch. We have a Discord channel, which is where we get a lot of conversation going. And obviously, today's episode is about AJ's performance. And last night, our Discord was, I wouldn't say divided. There was a lot of common ground amongst us all in certain aspects of how we felt the performance went. And obviously, some of us shared the same view, some of us had different views. And obviously, it is a subject that has definitely divided opinions. So, what we'll be doing is obviously taking some of these aspects and obviously bring it to light. And obviously, as the show's called, Say It With Your Chest, it's going to be pure honesty. So, how I thought the fight went yesterday, I was impressed to begin with, but as the fight went on, I did start having reservations because I did feel like a lot of it kind of reverted back to a type where he just looked completely lost at times. And Bruce, I know you've obviously been outspoken in the group, so I'm going to let you share some of your views on this one.
Man, you see me like I was expecting a lot. I mean, you man know I've been an AJ fan from day, man. So sometimes my opinion can get blurred from the fact that I've been following him hard and yeah, I love his journey, his character. But honestly, I was disappointed, man. I was disappointed. There's so many aspects to why I was disappointed. The first thing was I thought we were going to see a difference, and I don't feel, apart from the knockout, I don't feel in his performance we saw anything that warranted this big Derek James training camp. Like, some people are saying, oh, his footwork and whatever, but you're going in with Derek James for how long? The minimum I expected to see was the jab. That's the minimum. Like, even as a rangefinder, like pop out jab after jab after jab, just as a rangefinder, flick it out, use your feet. I didn't see any of that. There was
Definitely lost yesterday.
dude, like that was dead. So I'm like, okay, so if you weren't flicking out the jab, what were you doing? Were you waiting for the perfect shot? Were you scared to like? And here's the thing too, like, okay, he wasn't fighting White. That fell on his ass for the obvious reasons. So like, now you've got a guy who's 6 foot something, who's close to Wilder's height. That every heavyweight can punch. He's going to be 50% of what Wilder throws. It was your perfect time. The Wilder fight's coming. This is your perfect moment to go, okay, I got someone that's the same height as Wilder. I know I haven't been training for this height, but let me try and like close the range, close the gap, use my jab to come in and then just throw a couple combinations. Apart from the one in the 7th round, I didn't see any others.
This year was interesting because when the fight started, I felt we were seeing decent head movement to begin with.
Right.
And it's like from round 4, it's like everything just kind of changed. And it's just like, he just looked like he didn't really know what he was doing. His head was in line, and then his head was getting a bit popped back from jabs.
Right. And then even with the head movement early on, the head movement without jabs or without any combinations, then what is the head movement for? It's like when people say, his feet were great. Yeah, but great doing what? He didn't use his feet to close the gap. Right. He didn't use his feet to close the gap and throw combos. So what was what, you're trying to stay out of range of Helenius? Like, come on, man. Like, it's like, I feel like there's so many excuses being made. And Like,
I agree.
I feel like with someone like AJ, you have to be objective, man. If you're a hardcore boxing fan, you have to be objective and call bullshit when you see bullshit. You know, and people like don't like to, like, I don't know, they don't want to be honest, or they want to hurt people's feelings. But I feel like sometimes with people not being honest about this AJ thing is the same reason why people still hail up Dillian White. I'm like, bro, you know, this guy got sent to the shadow realm like twice. And they're hailing up White like, oh my God. I'm like, bro, he's more known for his losses than he is for any wins he's got on his resume. But we're still on some like hailing up White stuff. And I don't get it.
Neither do I, but I'm not gonna lie. Yesterday, obviously, post fight, like immediate post fight, I would probably say I was still more in my I'm an AJ fan type of thing. Even though I was trying to be subjective, I was still, even when I was giving like my opinions in the Discord, it was still from a place of fan moment, more emotional based than thing, like than realism. Then obviously this morning when obviously the discussion restarted, I was like, I was a bit more subjective and obviously seeing it from the other side, obviously the boxing fan side, where it's just like I didn't see anything that I was impressed by. I would say from round 4, because then even I think it was literally just the round before he knocked him out, and he was there saying, "I can't land the right." But it's like, is that the only shot you guys went into the fight trying to land? Because for you to come out and say that, and then again there was no jab, it did kind of throw me off a bit when I heard that comment, because I could hear Derek James saying stuff to him, but it's like, what was the game plan? I get it was a last minute, like a last replacement. There wouldn't have been no sparring. There wouldn't have been none of the stuff to obviously prep you for it properly in a way, but it just kind of felt like they was freestyling on the night with how they was going about things.
And that's what I'm saying, man. You know, it's like, and I think if you look at that, you know, okay, it's a last minute replacement, but the way he was tentative as if the person who replaced White was Wilder. That's the craziest thing. Like the way he was tentative is like, oh, like how?
The thing that surprised me though, and it was obviously only as I was looking through the record on something yesterday, like just before the fight come back, it dawned on me like Derek Chisora fought Helenius in 2011.
Right.
Like, so it's not even like Helenius is fresh in that sense. Like, he's been around.
This is what I'm saying, bro. Does anyone know Helenius to have a killer right hand? Is he known like that? Not really.
No.
Yeah, heavyweights can punch, but you're in the heavyweight division, so you understand it. But some men have got the bomb, and others haven't. Helenius ain't really known like that. So what's like the reservation and the hesitation? And I'll tell you what it is. And I said this to my boy like yesterday. Here's the craziest thing is that I think the mental thing has gotten him worse than most
earlier.
Yeah, and here's the craziest. A lot of men, when they get KO'd, they come back and they adapt and they avenge their loss, but they're still the same fighter. Look at Amir Khan when he got absolutely slumped by Bradis Prescott. Amir Khan came back, and Amir Khan he rebuilt, but was he a different fighter? No. He even goes out and tells you, kept doing what he did. He came out and said, I can't help it. I'm the dog in me. I just love to have a scrap, which is why so many times he got caught. Look at Lennox, Hasim Rahman. What happens? He came back. Was he a different fighter? No. He avenged his loss with a KO, but he wasn't a reserve fighter. Bruno, Tyson 2. Bruno got slumped by Tyson 1. Tyson 2. So many times you see this and you see them come back, avenge their loss, be a little bit smarter, but they're the same fighter. I can't remember a fighter that's like had what happened to AJ and then literally said, no, I'm gonna have to change my whole approach because I can't have that ever happen again. Like, you know, I can't remember.
Weird with the AJ one, because obviously the Ruiz one was the one that obviously ended in a stoppage. But every time he's been rocked, it's usually from the same kind of punch, right around the temple, same thing. Obviously, White, you saw it, legs went, he managed to gain composure, came back, finished it off. Klitschko, same thing, punched, hit, same kind of shot, got dropped, but then obviously in that fight he got up. Then we know how that one ended. So it was interesting with the Ruiz one. Now obviously everyone always makes the thing of there was stuff in the build-up to the Ruiz fight that obviously we'll never know about, and obviously that one ended in a stoppage. then he avenged the loss. But then I said it in the Discord earlier because obviously he does overthink everything, and I think he's trapped in his own mind once he gets in the ring.
Mm.
And I'm just wondering, and like I said in the Discord, I wonder if those same issues he had back then, around that time when obviously they were saying there was stuff going on, I kind of wonder, is that something that he lives with now on a day-to-day basis that has an impact with him, which is why we see it going forward? Because if it was something that was just like a one-off, or there was something there, you could kind of give the excuse of, oh yeah, it was just a one-off. But it's like ever since that fight, and obviously the stoppage, you see the same kind of person going into each different fight. And the way he, even to when he does these interviews now, it just seems a bit uncomfortable watching. I'm just like, I
Yeah,
don't know.
I agree with you. I mean, I know you, like me, watch UFC too. I watch like Helenius Championship Muay Thai. So I follow a lot of combat sports people, and I'll be honest, he's one of the dudes that for me, he now does the tough guy act out the ring more than he does inside now. And
100%.
it's kind of weird to me that, like, he, you know, even in the weigh-ins, he was given that, like, the brave talk. In interviews, he gives a big talk, but I'm like, why doesn't it match it? Because I've seen warriors who talk outside the ring, then when they go in the ring, they want to go and smash their opponent to bits. Even when they get into a clinch or when they get dropped, they get up with the dog in them and they come forward. And we saw it in Vlad, yes. But in the Ruiz one, I don't know what happened. I don't know where, like, boy, I wasn't expecting it, and it totally took me by surprise. But now, ever since then, he's like, I don't want to ever have that feeling again. So to me, what that tells me is that, sad to say, you ain't really got the dog in you that you say you got in you, because we've seen a lot of
Something definitely left him around
yeah,
that time.
yeah, bro. We've
100%
seen,
left him
you
around
watch
that
the UFC, we followed man that, like, get slumped and they come back, and the next fight, you want to say to yourself, like, bro, didn't you learn anything? You're going back into this firefight swinging again. Like, you want to be careful, but that's the dog in them. That's what they do. That's them. Yes, you can be smart, but, like, fighting is very obvious when the minerals aren't there. Everyone can see. You know what I'm saying? And I made the point in the Discord when he said in the post fight, an interviewer said, "Yeah, you didn't see me yourself," and then he said, "Well, have you ever been in the ring before?" Bro, I don't need to be an actor to tell you a movie's shit. You know what I'm saying? I don't need to be a first class chef to tell you that food sucks. Like, I don't,
yeah,
you know.
even these post-fight interviews, like I say, they just throw something different. Like I say,
Mm.
and what really threw me as well, and obviously it wasn't with Derek James in the corner, but the improvements you could see in Usyk too, in terms of overall boxing ability. Yes, he still lost, and Usyk just has his number, but there was improvements there that he, as a boxer, could work on. But it just seemed like all of that's just been stripped away.
It's been stripped away, and I think the worst part is, to me, it looks like he's desperately trying to be this boxer, and I understand what he's trying to do, but he's totally forgetting what, number one, made him a fan favorite in the beginning, and number two, what gave him so much success in the beginning. And all he needs to do is add some boxing to the animal that he had to make it a match made in heaven. And I feel like what he's done is stripped away the animal and just
Just complete boxer mode.
yeah,
And I think being in complete boxer mode, like I say, just watching it obviously as a fan, you look at him and it's just like, it's like you're trying too much, but you can see he's overthinking about what he wants to do. Like
exactly,
even
bro.
yesterday at times, it looks like he wanted to throw the jab, but then it's like, if I throw the jab, I'm gonna get hit, and it did
Right.
happen quite often.
And that's it. And that's it. Why do you think people are more like empathetic towards Del Boy? Like, people like, and why? Because Del Boy wears his heart on his sleeve. He goes out. He's like, yeah, I'm going to do this. You know what it says on the tin. He backs up what he says. Even if he's hurt, he's like, nah, I'm going to, like, people resonate with that shit. They resonate with truth. Even if you lose, but you go out on your shield, people resonate with that. People don't resonate with you doing big talk out the ring, but in the ring, it's deer in headlights.
Yeah, because that's why I would say, even with that fight, what surprised me most, obviously, because the weigh-in, the talk he had at the weigh-in, if you want to fight now, we can fight now, or we fight tomorrow. It's like,
Dude,
well, clearly, if we fought now, like,
bro.
nothing would have happened. Then you actually had the chance to beat him in the ring. Yes, it was a devastating knockout, but it could have came sooner.
Yeah, dude.
Like
100%. 100%.
like I say, even now, like thinking it just baffles me so much because, like I say, you know what he's capable of, but I don't. If it's almost as though he don't believe in himself, like he doesn't believe in
Yeah.
it anymore,
I,
and
th-
that's
I
the worrying thing.
Yeah, I think
Because
that's it. I think that is it in a nutshell. He doesn't have the belief, and I don't think that any amount of oh, I've got a storm happening here now too. Any amount of trainer hopping is going to help. To be honest with you, I think we're at a place now where he is where he's at. Can he still win the Wilder fight? Of course, he punches hard. Like, come on. But if you have to put it down in paper, like looking at styles, looking at performances, Wilder's going to come forward. Wilder is going to want to use the jab, set it up. From what we've seen at AJ yesterday, like it does not look good at all, you know?
yeah, see, one of the interesting things I always go back to because it's always like Ruiz won. Like, obviously, anyone who's an actual boxing fan understands that Ruiz, even though it was a late replacement, was 100% a dangerous fight going into that. And even though not many people knew him, like, and everyone looked at his shape and thought he was just fat, and obviously AJ should be knocking him out. But for anyone that obviously followed Ruiz's career or even seen Ruiz fight, would know he was a solid opponent. Because I remember watching the fight he had with Joseph Parker for the title, and even in that fight there, I felt that he definitely should have came away with the win and would have been a world champion. And then I remember watching David Diamante say, in a sense, it's like the basketball comparison when the New York Knicks had Jeremy Lin and he was scoring points. No one knew how to deal with him. And um, it's because no one had seen any tape of him. So obviously, and then he compared it with obviously with Ruiz. And then he put it basically saying, when the champions obviously fight preparing for their fights, the future opponents will be studying them to obviously for future events. And he was like, so your opponents will be studying you because you're the champion, whereas you're not really looking for them. So when he had the Ruiz fight, obviously for me, I saw it as more of a dangerous fight than Miller. So I wasn't surprised. I was surprised he lost because I expected him to beat him. But at the same time, I knew Ruiz had the ability to hurt him. And then when you actually look at how he's gone on, like I say, since then, as I was just discussing with Bruce, it seems since that day, we've never really seen the same level of opponent, like fighter in AJ. I think prior to or in and around the two Usyk fights, you had the Pulev fight, which obviously ended in a stoppage. He did look somewhat back to his normal self, but you then had the Usyk fight. He boxed so much better as a boxer, but like I say, Usyk was just better than him. Then obviously the Franklin fight, which was the first fight under Derek James. Being in the arena that night, I did feel I saw some improvements of what they may have been working on in the gym. So I wasn't completely mad at the 12 rounds. But then when you fast forward to last night, I just felt I didn't really see any improvements even from the Franklin fight. The fighter that he was fighting, Franklin, was a better version than the fighter that fought Helenius. So I'm just hoping, obviously, with the Wilder fight now reportedly being next, when it comes round to fight night, we just seriously need to hope that he is able to find something in him that gets him not pre-Ruiz, but as close to pre-Ruiz as possible. Because trying to walk Wilder down without some caution will be a stupid mistake, and it will probably end up with an AJ out on the floor, and I don't think it'll be a punch he gets up from. But whereas if he's able to mix in the performance that he had with Usyk 2 with a bit of the dog that he had pre Ruiz, probably similar to how he was in the Vladimir Klitschko fight, I would give him 100% more of a chance of actually winning that fight than I would based on what I saw last night. So last night's fight, although it was a replacement, it wasn't who he trained for. I look at it with some caution, obviously, to how the Wilder fight will go, but overall and generally speaking, it does leave me a bit concerned as an AJ fan because I wasn't happy completely with what I saw last night. Like I say, at the time of the fight happening, I was looking at it from more of an emotional point of view, and I was looking for more excuse to kind of validate how the performance went. But on reflection, my view completely changed in a sense because I looked at it from a different view. So I'm hoping going forward, if they do make the Wilder fight, that he is able to focus and at least get to somewhat of the level of performance we see pre Ruiz. Because I do feel that is the best version to a degree that we will see that gives Wilder the best fight he's possibly going to get from him at this stage in his career. But with that being said, this is going to be the end. So if you have any comments, want to share any views of how you felt in the thing, please leave it in the comments. Oh, wait, if you leave it there, got my good friend G Chain coming in. G, what's going on?
How you doing, brother? You good?
I'm good. I'm good. Obviously, you was at the fight. I was just going to end the stream, but I see you pop in, so I'll let you have your say because obviously you was there last
Sorry, one
night.
second, brother. I've got feedback. One. Can you hear me now, blood?
Yeah, I can hear you now. Is that better?
Yeah, that's better now. It was like on in a little delay, man. What are you saying, brother? You good?
Not much, not much. Yeah, I'm good. How are you, bro?
Yeah, all good, bruv. Yeah, went to the fight last night. Oh, I've got this
Yeah.
echo thing again, bruv. One sec.
One moment. Let me mute myself and I'll let you talk. But obviously, because you was there, I was going to end it, but because you was there, you can give obviously a good insight of how you felt there. And obviously, because there was booze ringing around in the arena that
Well,
we could hear.
let me come out and come back in. Let me come out and come back in.
1 second, people. Hopefully, G will be back in a second. Like he was at the fight yesterday, so he will be able to give a view of how he thought it went in the arena. Because it would be interesting to get someone's perspective from that side, who was actually there. Because, like I say, watching it on the TV, we could hear the boos from around, I think it was about round 4. But obviously, could have been booing for any reason with negativity from Helenius or whatnot. Danny Bell?
Yeah.
Okay. Let me come out 1 moment.
I'm getting like a delay where I'm hearing it like 30 seconds behind or something, bloody.
That better? Right, that better?
Let's see if there's any more like delay now. Hopefully, we should be good to go, bro.
Right, can you hear me better now?
I can hear you perfect now. Yeah, there's no delay now.
Yeah.
It's just started again. Don't worry, I'll let you
1
carry
second.
on your thing, bro. Yeah.
I'll mute myself in a second, but just give me your perspective of obviously how you felt the fight went from being in the arena. Right, having some technical issues. Hopefully he might pop back in a second. If not, we'll end it here and then catch up on another stream. Right, so he's not going to be able to jump back in. But like I say, we'll wrap it up here, and then hopefully going forward, we'll be doing more of these types of videos. And then, like I say, hopefully getting more people to jump in, give their views on various subjects of whatever we pick for the week. And yeah, so like I say, if you want to share your views on how you felt the fight went, just drop it in the comments. I will reply to any that I see, and then hopefully some of us will be on the same page, some of us won't. But with that being said, hope you have a good week and stay blessed, people.